Jack Wilson's peaceful life was shattered when Martha Blake, the iron-fisted HOA president, demanded he remove the beloved dock he'd built with his family. Martha's ruthless control over the neighborhood left many neighbors too afraid to speak up, turning Jack into an outcast. But when Jack seized the unexpected chance to buy the Marina and challenge her power, everything changed. Just wait until you discover the shocking twist that turned the tide, and how justice finally triumphed in this gripping tale. My name is Jack Wilson. I'm just an ordinary guy who loves spending summers on my little dock by Lakewood. That dock isn't just a convenience. It's part of my family, my memories, and my way to unwind. I remember building it myself 10 years ago, piece by piece, with my kids running around, laughing and helping. It was our special spot. A place where we shared stories, caught fish, and watched the sunset paint the sky. Everyone in the neighborhood knew it and liked it. It was a part of our lives. Then one afternoon, everything changed. Martha Blake, the president of our homeowners association, showed up at my doorstep. She wasn't the warm, neighborly type I had known before. Instead, she wore a stern expression and carried an air of authority that made my stomach tighten. "You have to remove your dock," she said bluntly. No introduction, no small talk, just an order. According to her, my dock was against community rules and supposedly ruined the neighborhood's appearance. I was stunned. No warning, no opportunity to discuss or explain, just a demand. It felt like a slap in the face. I couldn't believe it. I asked her why now. Why, after 10 years, suddenly it was a problem. She said it had to go immediately. The HOA board, she claimed, backed her decision. I looked around searching for some support, but saw only cold indifference. The very place I loved had turned against me. I felt anger boiling inside. Not just because of the dock, but because of the way she wielded power like a weapon. Martha always seemed strict but fair. At least that's what I thought. But now it was clear. She wasn't interested in fairness. This was pure abuse of power. And it stung the most that she didn't even let me speak my side. No chance for compromise, no respect for years of shared community life, just an ultimatum. I felt betrayed, isolated, and furious. How could one person decide the fate of so many without listening? That moment marked the beginning of a battle I never expected to fight. One that would test not just my patience, but my resolve. After that harsh encounter, I knew I couldn't just accept Martha's demand. My dock was more than just wood and nails. It was a symbol of my family's history, a piece of who I was. So I tried to rally support from neighbors, hoping that some of them would stand with me. I knocked on doors, shared my story, and asked for advice. But the response was colder than I expected. Many were afraid of Martha and her loyal clique, who ruled the HOA with an iron fist. It seemed that over the years she's always and she had built a small but powerful group who shared her vision, a perfect community where no one questioned her decisions. I started hearing whispers that Martha had long dreamed of controlling every inch of our neighborhood, pushing out anyone who didn't fit her narrow idea of order and perfection. My stand against her made me a pariah. Some neighbors who used to smile at me now avoided eye contact or gave curt nods. It was like I was the troublemaker disrupting a fragile peace they preferred to maintain. I could feel the walls closing in. Every morning, walking past my dock, I was hit with a deep ache of injustice. The thought of having to remove it felt like surrendering to a tyranny I hadn't signed up for. Worse yet, Martha's confidence seemed unshakable. The HOA board appeared to blindly follow her orders, afraid or unwilling to stand against her. I felt powerless, like a small boat caught in a storm with no shelter. The isolation was suffocating, but deep down, I knew giving up was not an option. This period tested me in ways I hadn't imagined. Nights were restless, filled with questions. Was it worth fighting? Would anyone listen? Could one man really stand up to this? But beneath the doubt, a stubborn spark of resistance grew. I wasn't just fighting for a dock anymore. I was fighting for respect, fairness, and the right to be heard. Feeling cornered and desperate, I knew I had to find a new strategy. I couldn't win by simply arguing or pleading anymore. I had to find a way to change the game entirely. So, I began investigating the HOA's finances and assets, searching for any leverage that could help me. That's when I uncovered something astonishing. The Marina on the other side of the lake, a large docking area managed by the HOA, was up for sale. At first, I couldn't believe my luck. The very organization that had threatened to force me to remove my dock was about to lose control over one of its most important assets. This was the opportunity I'd been waiting for. The break that could shift the entire balance of power. I realized that owning the marina wouldn't just save my dock. It would give me influence over a crucial piece of our community. It was a bold move, no doubt, and it came with risks. But the more I thought about it, the clearer it became. Instead of clashing with Martha head-on, I could play by her rules and become the one holding the cards. I gathered my savings, took out a loan, and made an offer. When the deal was accepted and I signed the papers, a wave of hope and determination washed over me. The feeling was electrifying. Suddenly, I wasn't just a victim anymore. I was a player, a force to be reckoned with. Owning the marina meant I could protect my interests and challenge Martha's control in a way she hadn't anticipated. It was a new beginning, a chance to rewrite the rules and fight for fairness on my own terms. For the first time in weeks, I felt a lightness in my chest, a sense that maybe, just maybe, the tides were turning. The road ahead was uncertain, but armed with this new leverage, I was ready to face whatever came next. Taking ownership of the Marina was only the first step. I knew I had to act decisively to make a real difference. So, I made a bold move. I raised the rent for all tenants, including the HOA and, most importantly, Martha herself. The reaction was immediate and intense. Suddenly, Martha, who had been used to absolute control, deciding who could do what in the neighborhood, found herself in the position of a renter forced to pay more to keep her privileges. It was a moment of poetic justice that sent shockwaves through the community. Martha tried to negotiate, trying to find a way to reverse the situation, but I held my ground firmly. My message was simple but powerful. If you want to control shared spaces and govern this community, you need to respect everyone's rights, including mine. To my surprise, neighbors started to come forward. Many had been quietly frustrated for years, tired of Martha's heavy-handed tactics and her clique's dominance. One by one, they spoke up in meetings, sharing their own experiences and supporting calls for change. Slowly but surely, the HOA policies began to shift. Rules became fairer, meetings more transparent, and voices that were once ignored finally had a platform. I didn't just win back my dock. I helped restore balance and fairness for the entire community. Looking back, the fight had been long and challenging. There were moments of doubt and loneliness, but standing up for what was right never felt more important. My story is proof that even when faced with unfairness and power, it's possible to push back and make a difference. More than that, it shows that standing up for your rights can inspire others to find their own courage. What began as a personal battle became a beacon of hope, a reminder that justice can be restored and communities can heal when people refuse to stay silent. That, in the end, was the greatest victory of all.